Closed communion. Closed communion is defined as when a church only allows individuals who belong to that church body to commune at their altar. For example, at Faith Lutheran, the practice is only to admit to the communion members of our church, or people who are members at churches with which we are in fellowship. That seems like such an unloving and unwelcoming practice. Why would Faith Lutheran do something so hateful? Paul writes in 1 Corinthians, "Whoever therefore eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner will be guilty concerning the body and blood of the Lord. Let a person examine himself then, and so eat of the bread and drink of the cup. For anyone who eats and drinks without discerning the body eats and drinks judgment on himself. That is why many of you are weak and ill, and some have died." We first need to understand that the Lord's Supper is a meal that can bring us great benefit, but in some cases can be harmful to us spiritually. The Lord's Supper is like medicine. One early Christian wrote, "Breaking one and the same bread, which is the medicine of immortality, and the antidote to prevent us from dying, but which causes that we should live forever in Jesus Christ." The Lord's Supper is the medicine of immortality. Christians who partake of it will live eternally through faith in Jesus Christ. One thing that your parents tell you never to do is to eat medicine from their medicine cabinet, right? Why? You could get sick or die because you don't know how much medicine to eat, and you're smaller than your parents, so the medicine will affect your body differently. Never eat your parents' medicine. But medicine can be very good. Many people take medicine every day to help them live and to keep them healthy. Do you take a children's vitamin? That's a kind of medicine that helps you stay healthy. However, the thing about most medicines is that the only way to get it is that a doctor needs to meet with you to decide that the medicine can help you instead of hurt you. We call this a prescription. Maybe you've been to a pharmacy like Walgreens with your parents to pick up prescription medicine. Now, in order for a doctor to prescribe you medicine, you need to get a checkup. That's where the doctor weighs you and takes your temperature and checks to see how your health is. If you go to the doctor and you complain about, say, your elbow hurting, he's not just going to prescribe you medicine. He's going to ask you questions, maybe lots of questions. How long has the elbow hurt? When did you first start noticing your elbow hurting? Have you tried asking your sister to stop hitting you there? He asks all these questions not to be annoying, but to try to get to the root of the problem and give you the medicine that will help you and not hurt you. Every doctor promises to do everything in their power to help their patients and not to hurt them. These questions are part of the process of medicine helping and not hurting. So it is with pastors. Every pastor promises to do everything in his power to help the people he serves and not to hurt them. Thus, he wants to make sure everyone has had a chance to have a checkup before he gives them the medicine of immortality, also known as the Lord's Supper. For many people at church, that checkup happened when they became members of that church. However, sometimes guests come to the church, and the pastor doesn't know who the guests are or what they believe. That puts the pastor in a difficult situation. If you were a doctor, would you give a dose of medicine to a stranger? No, that would be wrong. You could hurt them. This is where closed communion comes in. If a guest comes to church and would like to commune, the pastor likes to do a quick checkup. Sometimes that means having a conversation before church. Other times that means meeting with the guest later in the week for a longer conversation. The goal is to ensure not only that the Lord's Supper would be helpful and not harmful to the guest, but the goal is to promote overall spiritual health. Much of pastoral care happens in these types of one-on-one meetings. It gives the pastor a chance to ask basic questions. Have you been baptized? Do you believe that the Bible is true? Do you believe that the bread and wine are actually the Lord's body and blood? It also gives the pastor a chance to issue instructions that could help further benefit someone's spiritual health. Things like, did you know that the church you normally go to teaches some dangerous false teachings? Or, if you continue to do this bad thing, it could cause you to lose your faith. Sometimes doctors also have to issue warnings, like, if you keep on vaping, you could get cancer. If you watch television for 10 hours a day, your brain will turn to mush. Or if your sister keeps hitting your elbow with a hammer, you're going to break your elbow. Doctors don't like to have to issue warnings, but it's part of their job of ensuring the best overall health. We live in a fast-paced world which wants easy answers and simple solutions. And this health checkup goes against a world where we want to flip a switch and solve our problems, or take a pill and have all our health issues go away. Sometimes the pastor also has to say things that are hard to hear, but it's always for the goal of the overall spiritual health of the person he is talking to. The Lord's Supper is the medicine of immortality, but medicine can be abused. Thus, close communion is not hateful or unloving, but in fact, it is the only loving, responsible, and caring practice. As your pastor, I'm committed to ensuring the spiritual health of everyone who comes in our doors, even if it means sometimes having difficult conversations. This is all for the goal that everyone may lead spiritually healthy lives, walking with Jesus daily, so that they may be comforted in difficult times, and that they may one day rise again to life eternal. Amen.